All right. Welcome to a Windows Working Group meeting. Thank you, Leah and Daphne, for coming. See, we just wanted to point out a few things. We have the new project calendar that is an actual Google Calendar, and we now have the Windows Working Group item on the calendar. And if you pull this up, I think it should show the right time for your time zone. For me, it's 10 a.m. For you guys, it should show the right time. Is that the case?
Let me have a look.
It is the case, yes, by me at least.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, so if you're worried about what time the meeting starts, that should be the right time. How do I get back to my screen there? Okay. All right, we are still currently working on these two releases. We're hoping to have it sooner than now, but those are coming. I wanted to draw your attention to this UTF-8 PR that I recently did. I just wanted to make sure you saw the change. The big change is in the dunder init for salt. So it's here, and we're changing. We're just going UTF-8 all by default internal to salt. So it's just a simple get the default encoding, and that's it. Instead of all this logic to try to, because it never really worked good on Windows. It was always UTF-8 on Linux anyways. And since Python 3.6, Python is encouraged UTF-8 everywhere, instead of trying to deal with different code pages in Python 2. So what used to happen was this would not run. If this did run on Windows, this returned UTF-8. Encoding wasn't defined, so it would run this locale thing, and it would always return CP1252 on Windows, which would cause all kinds of Unicode problems when reading files and things. But it never reached this MBCS, so we were always getting this preferred encoding, which the locale one doesn't return right. So we decided to go UTF-8. Now, Damon Atkins had some concerns about it. He did a lot of work early on with Python 2 to address some of the Unicode issues. I just wonder if any of you guys know anything about MBCS. From my reading, it looks like it's not as supported in Python 3. It was kind of a stopgap measure for Python 2. There's a PEP here that talks about it. Well, it talks about going to UTF-8 and using all the Unicode APIs in Python. Anyway, just this may be I'm hoping it's not a breaking change, and our whole test suite passes with this change, but I don't have a non-US machine to really test on, so it might be good to test with a.
Okay, where is this been?
It's not merged yet.
Right.
It's going to go in. It's going to go into 3006. Hopefully.
Okay, but we should be able to download an installer for that, shouldn't we? For the PR.
For the PR, I don't. See what it creates.
He just made it work. He just made it work. I've got a feeling it was the self.host, probably.
Hmm,
Okay, I'll take it as a
it might be this.
level.
Let me paste that link in.
Mm-hmm. That, because that would be, yeah, the best way of testing.
Yeah. Put that in this chat and I'll put it in the meeting notes as well. It's probably a zip file or a tarball. So that's what the artifact does. So anyway, if you get a chance to test that, see if there's any unforeseen issues or if it's worse or better. But it actually did fix a trying to get back to the issue here. It does fix a issue with the with reading and writing to an INI file. We found it. Somebody reported the bug when they were trying to modify an INI file that had Unicode characters in it, and it would just fail. And just having it changed to UTF-8 as a default allowed it to read and to write that INI file. But to get around it, we also added an encoding so that if there is a problem and the file is actually encoded something other than UTF-8, then you can pass an encoding to the function as well. And if we do have problems with other file based modules, then that's something we'll probably have to add if it's not added already. All right. Anyway, let me know what you find on that. Just contact me in Slack if you get a chance to test it.
Mm-hmm.
We also, Tom is going to talk about this more today, but you may have noticed the PR come through.
This is about sort of, yeah, maintenance policy. I did read this, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's where we're gonna have, there's not as many of us to manage, and we weren't managing it well anyways. So we're just changing the way we are dealing with issues and PRs and salt enhancement proposals. And Tom will go over this more and answer questions today. So I just wanted to bring your attention to that to check it out. And lastly, I believe you wanted to talk, we're going to go to community issues now. And Duffy, you wanted to talk about the WIN event.
Well, I'm just bringing attention to an issue that somebody else had in the community Slack. And it's to do with running WIN events. He seemed to think that a dependency was missing. And I asked him to open an issue about it. I don't think he did that. I can't find it or haven't seen it, but it's the kind of thing that we should fix if necessary. So one of the last comments is that he had to salt pip install something. And I don't know, I mean, what isn't clear is if this is just something random that he found on his
he ran.
Install, like the install went wrong, or if there's an actual problem. And I haven't tried to reproduce it yet.
Yeah, I'd like to know how he installed salt. Oh, he's okay, so he's calling Windows WIN event and it returns. It can't load it because the Dundle virtual missing Pi 132. So I'd be curious to know how he installed Salt on that machine. Like, did he just pip install it? Because Salt wouldn't even run without Pi 132, honestly. Maybe there's an additional requirement in that. So is that a separate requirement? Do we not have that in our requirements? He was able to. Hmm.
And then he wants you ready to go. Fingers crossed. Okay.
That's not a dependency for Pi 132. If it's a whole, I would, if Pi 132 depends on it, it should have been installed when Pi 132 was installed. Let me just test some things here. Is it Zoom that makes everything slower?
Yeah, probably.
It seems the other time, they'll say that the or AWS. Yeah.
Hmm. So that might require, he was showing that code. If that is in, that's in the event, win event module. Is it a module?
Yeah, I believe so.
Oh, did I? Oh, I didn't type it right. Okay. Well, let's just try this. Oh, let's do it in my other. I have one that's got salt installed, I think. Yeah. Okay, so I know salt is in this environment. Okay, so we're getting salty stuff. So let's import Camel to Dick. Dang it.
And the filter box.
Okay, we don't have that as a requirement, apparently. Okay. So I will create an issue if he doesn't, and
It just got merged. Yeah, I clicked that result.
maybe I'll reference that same.
Yesterday was Lotus Interruptus.
Thread. Let's see here.
Yours is always nice to have.
Okay, I will add that. Thank you for bringing that to my attention.
Okay.
So shows how much use the WinEvent module has seen. Since that's been in there for so long.
Well, I do use it, so or I have used it in the past, but I'm not up to date with my salt versions yet. So it may be something that's changed recently.
Okay. I'll investigate that. I think did I merge that module?
Being yeah. So
Yeah,
that means Soul Cloud is revived.
I'm pretty sure I would have. There's probably tests for it too. I wonder if it's in the CI tests, but not in the package, like the CI requirements, but not in the package requirements. Come on. Hmm. Okay, it's there in the testing. And it comes through PyWinRM, which I don't think is a part of
I will.
and it's not here. So that's why we're not getting it in the package, but it's passing tests. Okay. Again, I'll look into that.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else that we want to talk about? That's what we discussed last time. Oh, I wanted to follow up with you, Leah, about being able to restart the Salt Minion. Is that still not working for you?
I just could not get to that minion because we were busy. But I promise that till next time I will update the issue and get it sorted.
Okay.
So that's that. Slack notifications I also got running.
Oh, good.
And the webhook also, but only manually. And I'm curious, how can we, because it says in the source code that we can append and then use the -- return Slack webhook. Like, I only get to run that manually, and I'm like curious, how can, like, what's the command, or because yeah, how can I get it running through reactor is basically my question, that the
So you
reactor
have,
would trigger that part. Because I got the Slack message post message, I think that's Slack Pi. But the Slack webhook return, that I don't like, I'm not entirely sure how to do that, because it's coming directly from master, I guess, so it doesn't work the same as the state event, like as the events, right? I can't target it.
so you want it to happen in a reactor? So
Yeah, I
a
want the
reactor,
basic. Yeah, I have reactor, which now sends like message notification. I don't have it working that it would say from which minion yet. So I'll work on that next. But for the Slack webhook, because it has like a really nice, like how many changes, print. I'm curious how I got that one running through reactor if possible.
okay, so the reactor reacts to events.
Yeah.
So you have to see, I think you have to create a beacon, I think.
I don't think this is a reactor situation. I think this is a returner.
Yeah. So maybe I think I haven't worked with that before. So it's the first time I'm working with returner. Maybe I have to activate something on master or minion. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I'm sure. I believe you would have to enable certain things in the master configuration file. But
Because because if I type it into the, like just salt and then state like apply, it will work. I just don't know how to now automate that part.
yeah, so if I understand correctly, you want, so for example, if you run a command or a state apply on a minion, you want that
Yeah.
result sent to Slack.
Indeed.
Yeah,
Or
so that's
if possible, that reactor triggers it as well.
Sure. Okay. So I think that is configuring a returner. So the standard returner just returns things to the master and shows you on the command line. But
yeah,
if you want something in addition to that, then it needs to be configured and enabled on the master. And I don't know off the top of my head how you go about doing that, but I know that that's how you do it, I believe.
Okay. And that's what I'll focus on next, because I had few attempts, and the initial Slack post, that one works through the states, but this one I wasn't sure. I never done anything similar to that before. Like the whole Slack thing was new either way.
Is this scan? I'm just thinking of put button in the whole message.
Oh, that's an old.
Mhm.
And they're all old. Fine.
On the cat, you put raised.
Okay. This might be what you need to
Event
configure in the
return.
master.
Okay. Yeah, that
Yeah.
one I did not try. I had I think it was just return. That one I tried, but that's different. It's not the same, I guess.
Which one did you try?
Cool. I think it was just return Slack and then post message and yeah, Slack.post_message. That was the one for getting the notifications through. And for the Slack webhook, it said that we can only set that up on a minion, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, the following fields can be set in the minion config file. So I didn't do anything for the Slack webhook return on the master side, like only the different module that's working. Cool. Then that's where I'll go. Thank you both.
We'll try that one. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I'll let you
I'm
know
not
how it goes next time. No worries.
okay.
I'm enjoying my journeys here. So. And what else?
Okay.
Yeah, and the other one was where you asked me if I would be willing to write an article, and I started writing, and I'm curious now, where do I deliver that, or in what format? Is it Markdown, or do you have, or like, I don't know, you have some flow that I need to follow?
However you wrote it is fine. Markdown is probably fine if that's what you used. I don't know what you used, but
Yeah, I started Markdown because figured that it's
Um,
the easiest to copy paste.
and you can send it to either me or Jimmy Chunga,
Okay.
and we'll work about getting it on the Salt blog
I
site
see.
and
Cool.
attribute it to you, and that'd be awesome.
Yeah. Then I'll probably wrap it up this weekend, and I'll help you out reproduce the first issue you mentioned as well. I'll just make sure I'm on the latest version and everything. And then I'll send you over the draft and also confirmation whether I can repro the UTF-8 issue or not.
Is this a reactor you wrote?
Yes, it was a scheduler beacon reactor combo, and then you asked if I could share how I done the adjustments of locale region format for the for the hives in the registry keys.
Oh,
So
okay.
so I have the PowerShell scripts ready as well. But it's a whole circle and a whole combo.
No, this is a heads up for you. That is coming.
I look forward to reading it. It's going to be awesome.
It was an awesome ride because, I mean, that's the reason how I got into Salt at work. So I enjoyed my ride so far.
Good. Okay. Is there anything else we want to discuss or need to discuss?
I'm just still a bit curious about the sort of the staffing of the project and things like that. Has anything changed with that regard? You mentioned that maybe even Pedro wouldn't be staying on, but he seems to be quite a key
Yeah, he's huge.
member of staff.
As of right now, I think he's gone either the end of this month or the end of February. They may be trying to bring him on as a contractor, but it's kind of messing, screwing him, I don't.
Mm,
I don't know, because you lose benefits and everything. I don't know if I don't know. I don't know what the deal is.
okay.
But yeah, as of now, we are losing him. So that leaves just 4 of us. Plus Tom. So
Okay. Remind me. So it's you, David Murphy, Daniel, and
Thomas Phipps.
right. Okay.
Yeah.
I do have another question. I'm not sure if you can answer this, but a few months ago, maybe 6 months ago or so, somebody did a demo in the open hour. I think it was Caleb. Something about uh, I'm not entirely sure, but using the Saltmaster to return the results of a process or something. You had some kind of AI process or something.
Caleb demoed this.
I have a feeling that's just what's in my head, but I was just
He
curious
was
more about what that.
Yeah, so there's a couple of other side projects that were being worked on. One was called Salt Describe, which
Right, yeah, it was around that time, yeah.
which could apparently reach out to your system and see what you currently had configured and like create a state based off of what Salt could learn about your system using existing modules and states. There's also Salt Heist, which is probably going to be a replacement for Salt SSH. And I can't remember what Caleb was working on.
I don't think it was sort of a side project as such, more of a sort of an unusual use of salt.
Hmm.
And I mean, the reason I sort of bring it up is because I've thought of using salt to provide notifications of things happening on a minion, along the lines of the Magios system or something like that. And I thought the Saltmaster, because of the event bus, it could take the place of the server that somebody needs to run, as in the Saltmaster itself can generate these notifications. But this is just blue sky thinking.
Yeah, you'd need to create beacons that would monitor things.
Yeah. So the beacon, yeah, that's fine. It's more
and
how
then
do you
fire
get
an
those,
event.
Yeah, fire an event and then going. I think it would be a returner returning to some external system.
Either that or a reactor. I would think it would be a reactor. The reactor monitors the event bus and then reacts to whatever thing you have it filtered for, and then can fire a returner or fire another state or something. Man, I don't remember, dude.
Yeah, I'm trying to
Sorry.
look at. It's just the they showed a demo and it just wasn't entirely clear what the sort of motivation behind the demo was, but I have a feeling it was something to do with like a pipeline or something like that.
If we look at what he worked on. filter this by closed? Oh, they are all in here.
Right, it was called Salt Analytics. I've just
Oh,
it's Salt Managed
yes.
Data Processing Pipelines. Salt
Yes, that
Analytics
was the other
Framework.
one.
Right. To run data collection pipeline. I mean, I'm just sort of curious if this can be used in a useful way.
I'm glad you're bringing it up because I have to deal with something similar at the moment.
Okay.
Okay, I know that's being worked. And I think Pedro was working on that with Caleb. I don't know how much focus that's gonna get if he goes. I don't know what's gonna happen to Salt Analytics. It's a Salt extension, okay. Ah, here's the write-up on it. I know in the case of Salt Heist, we have somebody taking that over. I'm not sure what's going to happen to Salt Describe or Salt Analytics, but I can put that as a to-do for me to find out what our plans are there. I'll find out on that. Just
Okay.
made some
Thank
notes
you.
here. Well, I'll ask questions. You could ask in the open hour too. Tom could probably answer that
Okay.
if you want to do that. Otherwise, I'll ask him later.
Well, I think what I'll do is look, now that I remember about it, I'll look into it a bit more to see if I can understand where it's coming from and if it does what I think it does.
Yeah, let me send this URL to you. That's his blog post write up, and I'll put that in here
Okay, thank you.
as well. Okay, anything else, guys? Everybody?
Not from me.
I'm also good.
Okay.
You answered me already.
Well, thank you guys for coming, and we'll see you in the open hour next or next month, whichever you can make. And thank you so much for your help and your input and feedback. And we'll talk later.
Thank you.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We'll see you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.